I was in the water trying to survive. Little bro jumped off the roof, literally just full on looked down. He started running towards the water, looked down to the right, just looked at me through the ground, through the dirt, through the rock, through the soil, looked at where I was at, obviously through the wall, sprints right up to the edge of the water, aims right where he was looking, and that's right where I'm at, and he kills me. Got it. He was level 50, crim 1 or 2. I've got that. I'm like, bro, this guy's definitely walling.
That's super cool, yeah.
But anyways.
We had blatant waller this morning, too. The whole team was just obviously walling. God, that's funny. Oh, dang it!
Cool.
I can edit it out.
You won't.
This
You're not going to, so it doesn't matter. Where's my water?
I would,
need to go find my water.
We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode 461. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I am joined by Tanner. Psych, he's gone. I've received that. I was joined by Tanner. I guess I'm doing it solo. I'm forging ahead on my own, by my lonesome. Anyways, welcome to the show. Today, it is Saturday, and as is tradition, we are going to be talking about the new update. Now, to be clear, not too much going on, as we've already said for the past 2 weeks, basically. When we covered the blog post, oops, not much. And then the patch actually came out. We covered the patch notes, confirmed not much. With that said, though, I've been playing a lot. Tanner's been playing some as well since the patch, the new season dropped. And we do have a couple things to say, despite a distinct lack of new and engaging, interesting content. So, yeah, with that said, basically, we're just going to talk about, Season 6, go through some random things. No particular order, just a little review of everything. And I want to start with a couple little pro tips for you. So,
oh, wow.
Number one is the new AR, or BR, I guess, whatever. The new fully automatic assault rifle in the battle rifle category, I guess, called the DTIR 30-06. This is the meta gun, for sure, on anything Warzone. Rebirth and or Big Map. And it did get nerfed, and it's still absolutely the meta for a couple of reasons. It has a great time to kill, and it has no recoil at all. So that is still the meta, despite it having been nerfed. If you've been playing Warzone, you probably already know that because everyone's using it. But there's really no reason to use anything else. I mean, it's so easy to use, and it has such a good time to kill. Like, you can rip people off head glitches, like, trivially. Easier than the STG, which is saying a lot.
You hit, like, every shot if somebody's not moving. It's very easy.
You really do. You don't have to control it at all if, like, no one's moving. Yeah. So it's really good at taking people off headies, and it has a nice headshot multiplier, too. And the STG also had a nice headshot multiplier, but it didn't have much recoil, but it had more than this does. Or at least it feels like it because of its faster fire rate, perhaps. That's kind of the only downside of it, and it has great velocity, the DTR too. The only downside of it compared to like the STG meta is that it has a slower fire rate. So it's a little less forgiving, but it's your long range option. It's not that big of a deal, and it's still really gross. So use that is pro tip number one. Pro tip number two. This is the only gun I've used since launch where even with a suppressor, like your meta attachment setup, you will have a bunch of smoke on your screen in your sight picture. And normally it's not a big deal, especially if you're on roller, it's normally not a big deal. But even on roller, if you're shooting like into a dark building, you're gonna lose them when the smoke comes up when you're shooting them. Or if the backdrop is like water, for example. So I'll be on prison roof, I'll rip a guy who's floating to like one of the boats, And then once he's like once the water is like in his backdrop and I'm still shooting him, he's gone because the smoke messes it up enough. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
There are two things you can do to counteract this. Number one, I don't recommend it because I hate this business model, but unfortunately, number one, use the black cell bundle because then you shoot tracer rounds and the smoke is gone. So you don't have that issue. Cringe. Number two, which I just figured out, actually, I need to test it a little more, but it seems almost certainly better. If you use the Eagle Eye, the Choreo Eagle Eye, I don't know if it's because you're like zoomed in past the smoke, that doesn't really make sense, or if it's just where the sight picture sits, it sits like high enough, your actual reticle, above the muzzle to where you see less of the smoke. And you might be thinking, I don't want to use an Eagle Eye because it's going to give me more recoil or visual recoil and be harder to control. Cool, you're wrong though, because this gun, it feels exactly the same. It feels like it has jack glassless recoil, even with the Eagle Eye. Mm-hmm. So it's really like almost all positives. The only downside of it on this gun versus a glassless are if you have to use it up close, you're going to be a little more zoomed in than you'd like. But this gun kind of sucks up close anyway, unless you're pre-aiming because of its slow fire rate. So I really think it's overall worth it to run an Eagle Eye, even on Rebirth, because then you do away with that smoke thing that's annoying and you get more zoom without any more recoil, which is actually kind of insane. That's how little recoil it has. So I'd recommend you guys at least try it. Even if you're not having an issue with the smoke, like even let's say you're using the black cell blueprint, so you don't care about the smoke issue. I still recommend you try it because it is nice, obviously, having more zoom, especially when it doesn't come with more recoil like basically every other gun does. So definitely worth giving a shot for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I was doing some testing yesterday too in the fighting range, trying to get a muzzle device and setup that had less smoke. Because yeah, the smoke is a lot worse than I originally thought when the update first came out, and I was like, oh, it kind of just seems the same as every other gun. But playing with it more, yeah, like you don't even have to be in a building. It's just like you're saying, if some guy is coming out of a door and that behind him is dark because he's coming out of a building, even just looking at him there, it's very difficult to see people. It's bad. So I tried it with the Choreo too, and I was trying some other optics because I thought the same thing. You would definitely use it with the lower recoil with this gun. The Choreo is, I think you're right, a better optic to use than the glassless probably, because you get a little extra zoom and there's really the recoil increase. I don't even think is noticeable personally.
I don't notice it at all.
But
yeah,
and I'm usually the person that's like, just use the jack glasses. It's not worth getting the small amount of zoom for more recoil. But I think this gun, you're right. Yeah, it's worth running the Choreo on. The smoke thing though, I personally didn't notice it. I never tried it in game, but when I was using the firing range, which is darker, so you see a lot of that smoke, I pretty much thought it was just as bad with the Eagle Eye as it was the glassless. So I went through and tried every meta suppressor basically, or every suppressor option, and the only thing I could figure out that had less muzzle smoke was the Cassis brake. So that's what I've swapped to now, and that's what I'm running. It definitely has
going loud, huh?
It definitely has less than the suppressors, but it still has enough where it might not even be worth it to just be loud. But I'll have to use it some more. But definitely there is less muzzle smoke in general. Like, so the Quartermaster, I think it was the Quartermaster and the Sonic both seem to have a ton, and they seem to be exactly the same. And then some of the other ones like Spirit Fire, the Shadow Strike, there's another weird suppressor that like nobody uses. Like I even tried like the Monolithic or something. They all seemed like they had maybe slightly less smoke than like the Quartermaster does, but it was still basically exactly the same. So that's what I'm doing. I went loud for now because also like we're mostly playing Rebirth. If I'm using a suppressed gun anyways, like everyone's going to hear me. They're going to know where I'm at anyways. It really doesn't matter that much. The gun controls exactly the same with the Cassis brake, so that's what I'm doing. So if you do think also it has more smoke, maybe try that, see if it works out a little better for you. But I hope they would just, nerf the amount of smoke coming out it, but I'm not sure they will at this point in the game's life cycle. They probably just aren't even going to put in the time to do that.
Oh, they're not patching the game ever again. Yeah. They did their nerf. It wasn't enough, and they're done. Yeah, they're checked out. So that's interesting, though. I didn't think to try different suppressors. I did try different like red dots at first. So I tried like the NIDAR, didn't make a difference at all. I tried the slate because that looks like it sits higher, and maybe it does, but it doesn't help. Like there's still smoke. So I was like, you know what? I saw someone using the eagle eye. I watched the kill cam and it had no recoil, and I was like, dang, can I really get away with that? And you absolutely can. So either way, something to try for you guys. With that said, though, by the way, not a great meta because it kills really fast and has no recoil.
I think it's fine now. I think it's balanced and fun enough to use. I think it's totally serviceable. I'm fine with this being the meta gun until this game is dead.
I mean, I'm not like super mad about it. It's not as bad as the pre-nerf STG, but I think it's worse than the post-nerf. I think it's a worse meta than the post-nerf STG. I think it's stronger than the post-nerf STG by kind of a lot. So you really do sometimes just get downed like really fast. But whatever. I mean, yeah, it's not the end of the world, but definitely use it. So yeah.
Yeah, because like I was gonna look real quick at the Holger, because the Holger 5.56 is faster killing for I think like 20 meters or so now. Let's see.
Interesting.
Because of that
That's
long
what I was
first
gonna
damage
try
range.
Before. Yeah.
So let's see.
It also has
Holger.
quite a slow fire rate.
So Holger between like 20 and 40 meters, it kills faster than the DTIR actually. But then after that, like at super long range, DTIR kills faster up close. Holger actually has a better headshot multiplier. Wow, I did not realize that. So like at long range, if you mix in headshots, the Holger might kill faster.
Yeah. The thing with the Holger though is it's way less trivially easy to control. Like you're absolutely missing more shots at the Holger. 100%.
Yeah. But
not that it's like insane or anything, but it's not an absolute laser beam like the DTIR. But yeah, if you get bored of it, I guess you can try the Holger, or if you're just twisted.
Yeah. So
keep in mind, I guess.
Anyways, yeah, I like the DTR meta. I think it's fun. Yeah, Jake didn't like it either. He was talking about how he wasn't a fan of the gun, but I don't know. I enjoy using it. It feels like a Raven Caldera era gun. How your screen does not move at all. It has very low recoil. I think it's kind of fun. You know, it wouldn't be fun if every single gun would be like that. Yeah, it's one of those satisfying guns to use. It's that fire rate that I really enjoy. It's a fire rate you enjoy, but then also if you miss a shot or two, you're kind of just completely screwed because the fire rate's lower. So like up close, if you get caught with it out at 15, 20 meters and you miss a bullet, like this happens all the time on Rebirth. I miss a bullet or two and then I'm just going to die every time because the fire rate's not forgiving enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's fun. Yeah. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, another thing that like everyone I've been talking to or playing with has said about it too is they're having a very hard time shooting people out of the air with this gun, which is weird because it has more bullet velocity than the STG. Yeah, but Jake was saying that. Cope, I think, might have said it. Bay was saying that. To me, I'm new enough on controller where I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a point of reference at all.
I guess it makes sense because of fire rate,
but yeah, I was thinking it's the fire rate too. Yeah, you have fewer correction windows.
Yeah.
So like if someone's falling out of the air and you have 2,000 RPM, you can keep shooting and like you're getting constant feedback on whether you're aiming at the right spot or not. Whereas with a slower fire rate, you're getting less constant feedback, all the while they're getting closer and closer to the ground. That would be my assumption, but
yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know.
Sense.
Not a huge deal, but just something I thought I'd point out. So anyway, yeah. So give that a try. I would encourage you guys to try the Eagle Eye, regardless of your smoke issue or not. And then with SMGs, yeah. I mean, I was hoping that the sparse list of changes, which were 3 to the SMGs, was going to shake up that meta at all. It didn't. Everyone's still using the static because the static wasn't touched. It still seems to be just the best overall option. I've not seen anyone using an HRM or a Ram 9 or an AMR 9. AMR 9 again, I still think is just too slow handling. HRM, I think it's actually too slow movement speed, which sounds insane because it was such a little zippy bud back in the day when it launched. But now it's
back in the
not.
good old days. Yeah, I remember those times.
It's just not.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it has like a short barrel movement option like the Super E, the Static, and like the Striker even do. It might. So maybe that, like, I don't know. This was what Metaphor was saying. He was like, dude, even with the Jack Slash, the HRM is like such slow movement speed. So maybe he just didn't use the right, I doubt it. I was going to say maybe he didn't use the right build, but I doubt it. He's pretty good and smart. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's just not competitive enough. And then the Ram 9, it got its damage ranges extended a little bit, but I think its time to kill is just ass. 100 emoji.
Ram 9, yeah. For me, the Ram 9 always felt bad. I never liked that gun at all. But
I don't like it either.
We were playing Rebirth pubs yesterday, and I killed some guy who had it, and then I was using it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this thing. I don't know if it was this guy's build. It seemed like a fine build, but that gun just always felt like ass to me to control. It had a lot of weird bounce to it. I did not like it at all. And the time to kill didn't feel quick at all.
The Bramley one is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a guy's like custom build, though. And I mean, I think I killed one or two people with it, and it felt completely terrible. But yeah. I've tried the Superi this season. I tried the Static. Right now I'm using the Striker 45, which is fun. I haven't really used that in a while. But
yeah, the Striker is really fun.
All around, I think the Static's just the best because that fire rate up close. It's the same thing with the Striker 45. If I miss a bullet or two up close and some guy has a Static, I'm never winning the gunfight.
Yeah.
Well, it's harder to use than the Static, so. But it feels a lot better at like medium range. It also, I assume it's more damage per mag because the fire rate, it certainly feels that way. Like with that 45 or 48 round mag, whatever that is, like you can take down 4 guys with that. You can't do that with a Static.
That's true.
50 round mag. So that's kind of nice at times. You don't have to reload as often. Feels better at range, but all around, the Static seems to be the best close range option right now.
Yeah, I feel like the Striker is actually easier to use than the Static on roller.
Well, you guys also use really weird. Well, maybe not. It's probably not weird. It's probably like a meta controller build. How you guys run like no stock and stuff on the Static, don't you?
No. On the Striker, I do though.
Okay.
But it has so little recoil by default that even with no stock, as long as you put Quartermaster on, it's like. I think it's because of the fire rate, though, like you were saying, that it's like so easy to control.
For the Striker you're talking about, or the Static?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I tried the Striker too with the no stock build, and I was like, no, it's got way too much horizontal bounce. And then I just used like the regular, whatever other stock I was using. But Static with like a no stock, I think Static has a no stock build, right? Or is it like a light stock or something?
No, it has a wire stock. Yeah. Curtis.
Yeah.
Striker 45 is a regular Striker because it's in 45 ACP, the Lord's Caliber. You stupid bitch. Come on, man. Use your brain one time.
Yeah. But anyways,
send him some of that smoke you're smoking.
Yeah, true. But anyways, yeah.
That's a
Static is good
call.
up close. It's just, yeah. It doesn't have enough damage for mag, I feel like. But it's very forgiving using the Static. That's the biggest thing.
Oh my God. Have you guys ever smoked smoke?
Like some of that smoke you're smoking.
Oh, you stupid idiot, Curtis. God damn it. That's funny. I'm very glad you said all of that. Thank you. Replete with just spelling errors, by the way. Retard. So anyways, yeah. I do like that. So I think the big 3, I don't see anything other than a Static, so I don't really know what like the consensus is, but look at using guns and looking at like TTK charts and stuff. Striker 45, stay mad. The Static or still the Super E Giga movement build. Because you move at like 8.8 meters per second, which is really nice.
It just feels so bad outside of like 5 meters or something, the strike or the Superi. Does it actually kill that much slower at the longer ranges? Because it feels awful.
The Super E?
Yes.
Yes, I believe it does kill quite a bit slower. That's like its big downside, is the damage drop off is like pretty early and pretty fat. So it kills slower than everything.
Oh
past
God,
12
it
meters.
is terrible. Yeah,
that
past
shit is
12
ass 100
meters, it
emoji.
becomes really bad. That's what it is. Because I was using it on Rebirth, and I swear this guy was probably, I don't know, 15 meters away. We were fighting around control, and I must have hit him like 13 times, and he was still alive, and then he kills me. I'm like, got it. And then immediately after that match ended, I removed the striker, or I removed the superior from my loadout and put a different gun. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this shit's complete ass. Like, the movement speed's good, but you have to be inside of somebody for it to actually
That's for
kill
sure
quickly.
like a Rebirth only gun.
Oh, yeah.
And you
It
have
seems
to
like,
know,
yeah.
like, I need to get inside people. Yeah. Yeah. But the reason it's not complete trash, even though it kind of looks like it from the TTK charts, is because you're literally moving faster than everyone else. Literally. It's not possible to move faster than that unless they're knifing. You can get inside that damage range, like, whenever you want. But is it worth it? Like, probably not. I don't think. No. And then I like the FJX conversion kit too. That's what I was kind of on when they had buffed it or nerfed something else. I don't remember. It was season 5, but it moves way too slow. You just can't
complete ass.
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really fun gun, satisfying.
It's so fun to shoot.
I like the recoil pattern.
Thick mag.
It's like it feels perfect. As slow as moving with like your AR or something. It feels like terrible. Yeah.
Especially when I noticed it mostly because I was using it for a while, because the time to kill and stuff is really good. It's really easy to hit shots. It's really fun to use. It's really satisfying. It has 60 round mag too, and you don't have to use an attachment for it because the conversion kit comes with that extended mag. So like, I like everything about it, but the movement is pretty slow, and I didn't notice it too much until one game I like picked up someone else's loadout, and I think it was a Superi, and I was like, oh, okay, I can't use this anymore. Like, this is incredible how much faster I'm moving now.
Yeah.
And that is more important, I think, than a lot of people realize, myself included. Because you just think like, oh, movement speed's only good for like, I mean, moving around faster, obviously, like getting into zone quicker, whatever. It's like, no, it's kind of good for everything. Like, if you want to take a fight, like slide ADS on someone, you do it way more quickly and way farther if your movement speed is faster on that gun. If you're running people down that are running away from you, you can get shots on them more easily, way more easily, because you move faster than them. Because you want to shoot if you're chasing someone, but they don't want to shoot because they're running away. So they're just running away, maybe plating, maybe throwing smokes, but they're like full attack sprint the whole time. They're just trying to like survive till someone respawns on their team. Whereas you want to chase them, but then once they're in your line of sight, you want to be able to shoot. You're going to have to slow down to do that, obviously. So unless you have like extra movement speed compared to their gun, you'll just never be able to shoot, because as soon as you do, you'll slow down, they break line of sight, they're gone. And with the conversion kit, you just can't run people down ever. Whereas with the Superi, you super can. And then there are other guns like the Striker and the Static where it's a middle ground. You can run people down sometimes, depends how weak they are, depends how much line of sight they can break, etc. But yeah, there are a lot of, it's like more important than you would think, I guess. Or maybe I'm just an idiot, but it was a lot more important than I would have thought until I switched off of it. And I was like, oh, this is actually winning me more gunfights too. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just fun, man. It's so fun with that Superi, but I'm still off of it. So yeah. Anyway,
the new LMGs, or the new LMG and the attachments it has to get that crazy tack stance movement
that
speed.
underbarrel thing. Yeah.
The new gun, I haven't actually looked at it, but the time to kill feels bad. It does not feel very good at all, which is maybe the Evolver is faster, which is why people are starting to use that with the attachments to get that fast movement speed. So I used that a couple times yesterday from people that I killed. It's fast, it's fun, but it doesn't seem like anything really meta, probably. Hard to say. It could be, but I think it's still a little too early. Like, there was some guy on Big Map using it, and this dude just comes around the corner, starts spraying me, probably 12, 15 meters or so. He's just moving so fast, I think I literally hit him one time, maybe two times, before he killed me. I mean, he got 15 bullets in me in the time I was able to hit him once
Yeah.
or twice because he's moving so fast. And you're not used to having to track somebody shooting at you, going left to right that quickly. That is very abnormal in Warzone.
It's really fun to use. Yeah.
It's fun to use. It's not fun to go up against. Very difficult to track people. So that wasn't very fun, but yeah. Fun stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I do wonder. I haven't seen it like in ranked at all.
No.
But, I mean, I could maybe see it being good. Like you said, running like a something with good damage range, so like a static or a striker, so that you don't have to have a bunch of AR ammo. So like that'll be your short range gun, and then also attack stance evolver will also be your short range gun.
Yeah.
You just don't take fights far away. That seems like, in theory, very feasible on Rebirth, especially because there are so many buildings. You can, if you want to, pretty much every gunfight, you can make it be a 10-meter gunfight if you want. Like, there are very rare. I don't know about rarely, actually. There are end games where, actually pretty often, it seems like it might be a liability. Unless you, again, built an SMG. Like, maybe that's when I would run the conversion kit on the Horus, actually. So that I can still have both types of ammo, so it's not annoying. And I still get some more range than a normal sub with the Horus. And then just use that like an AR, basically, for end game when someone's on a roof and you're not, or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
But 90% of your gunfights you can take really close if you want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I want to try that. I
might try it, man.
I might josh around and try that. Yeah.
You know,
You ever joshed around before?
No, I don't think I have.
By the way, I do have a question, because, yeah, the new attachment came out with the new LMG, and it lets you sprint while shooting. I've got it. And you can put it on any LMG, is my understanding. But the meta LMG people seem to be doing this on is the Evolver E. Why? Like, why not the Eradicator or the new one, or, I don't know, the Rap H?
I don't know.
I wonder what the reason is. It's the Evolver. But if you guys are like too lazy to research or whatever, it's best on the Evolver. That's what everyone's using, and they're using it because they've already looked into it. I would assume it's probably the highest movement speed you can get of all LMGs. That would be my guess as to why they're using it. Because you do move giga insanely fast, and a lot faster than the new LMG, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't know. Because, like, up close, the new LMG kills a little faster. Granted, it's not much. It's like it kills faster by 30 milliseconds. So I'm not really sure, actually. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Must be some reason.
I don't know. There's for sure a reason. I'm guessing it's movement speed. I'm guessing whatever attachments you can put on the Evolver are going to give you the most, like, sprint speed or whatever. And that's how people are just ice skating on others with it. But I am going to do a try. That sounds fun. Yeah. So, anyway.
Did you check the 5.56 rounds? No. Is that what people are using? The Evolver has 5.56? I honestly don't even think I knew that.
I did not know that.
Where does it have that? I don't see that on True Game Data. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a mag attachment, apparently. Drop the build, JKN.
Well, I mean, it's only like a
evaluate.
50-round mag then? Is that what it is? I don't... Or it's just
Maybe
not on
that
True Game
is
Data
what
or
gives
something.
you crazy movement speed. A smaller magazine. Yeah.
God, his website's terrible now, man.
Shit
So
is ass
buggy.
100 emoji.
Because every time I saw the TAC Evolver, it had a 200-round magazine on it.
Yeah, whatever. We'll look into it.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong gun. Hold on. I was looking at the Eradicator. That's why. Okay, yeah. So it's probably the 200-round 5.56. Yeah, that must be what it is. 200-round 5.56. That's what people are running.
So why 5.56 though?
It's even slower killing with the 5.56. I guess the fire rate. So probably fire rate, and then it probably does give you a big boost in the movement speed.
Yeah, okay.
Better velocity, lower recoil, 26% ADS movement, which would be ADS movement comes into play when you're ADS with tac stance, right? It must.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then fire rate. Okay, so that must be what people are using then, yeah. But I don't know. Still kind of seems like on paper the cast off is better for time to kill, but I guess the movement speed's that much better. It makes sense.
The movement speed is like ridiculous. It's really funny watching people use it. Like Teep posted a little montage, I believe, on Twitter, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
The people he killed were terrible, of course. All streamers.
Yeah, he's boxing and cheating.
Yeah, but that's a joke, by the way. Yeah, looked fun. So anyway, I'll look into that. I kind of regret not having done so. I just kind of forgot. I've been getting used to roller. That's where all my mental energy is gone. But yeah, that's kind of the SMG meta right now. I will say I played quite a fair amount of ranked, and no one's using that.
No
one's getting goofy. And probably the reason, honestly, is because you would rather run a DTIR than run that LMG up close. Even if the LMG is the best up close option, people are not willing to sacrifice a DTIR because they don't want to run both, because they don't want to have to be double dipping AR ammo. That would be my guess, which kind of makes sense because the DTIR is disgusting. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, so moving on from that, I mean, other new things. We had the LTMs. We've kind of talked about them a little bit. So Zombie Royale, have not and will not play because being a zombie is ass, 100 emoji. No one's talking about it. No one cares because everyone's over it. It's boring. So that's
you're right. Actually, wait a second. There is nobody even talking about the Halloween event.
Seen
you're
any
right.
Gameplay of it, which is insane.
I didn't even think about that. I mean, and last year that's all people were playing for like a whole month. They were just streaming, playing that, talking about that. Yeah, it was. That's weird. Yeah, I did not think about that at all. You're right. Yep. Shit is ass.
That's how trash it is. And maybe it's not trash, maybe it's fine, but it's the same thing we've had for 5 years, so I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's that. However, Purgatory, again, like we've been saying, it is cool and it is fun. And it was especially nice for me, which I've already mentioned, but I'll mention it briefly again. Very good for getting reps in and like practicing getting into
Purgatory
with your loadout. Yes.
Yeah.
Because in Purgatory, you basically instantly respawn. You can't get team wiped. The match lasts for 2 hours. So you don't have to wait to respawn. You don't have to wait to get loadout. And you don't have to wait to queue for the next match even. It's like the perfect game mode possible to practice getting in gunfights in Warzone, where you have your loadout, your perks, the plate system, all of that stuff. It's really good for that. I loaded into, again, a match. You usually backfill because they're 2 hours long. So I loaded into one that's, I don't know, there was like 40 minutes left or whatever. And I'm on day 4 of controller. So I want reps with controller. And I was like, oh, this is a happy coincidence. I'm going to just go get in gunfights. So that's what I did. Like I just would land, challenge a bunch of people, get a kill, die, whatever, and just did that for like 40 minutes. And it was so good for just getting in like practice. I ended up getting like 137 kills or whatever, which isn't a brag. I mean, it's a 2-hour match and you respawn instantly basically. So, but it's just to say like, that's a lot of reps. Like how many games of regular Resurgence would you have to play to get 137 kills with your loadout against someone who also has their loadout? I mean, how many hours of like normal Resurgence would that be? A lot more than 40 minutes, I can tell you that, like for sure. So it's really, really, really cool for that. In terms of like it being whatever the festive Halloween mode stuff, I don't know. It's cool. We already talked about it. Rebirth looks neat. I am excited to try Vondel Night, but it's not out yet.
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting about Vondel Night. That'll be fun.
That'll be cool, hopefully. last year, Vondel got its own little Halloween update, and it was really cool, and it was really well done. And people kind of forget about that because people don't like Vondel because they're dumb. And also, there was the whole alien invasion or whatever on Maz, and all the other like bosses on Maz, which were really cool, to be fair. But Vondel was also really cool last year. It got a whole makeover. It was at night. Even the tac map was like cool. It was all different. It had changed text. It was like dripping blood or whatever. The whole atmosphere was goated on Vondel. I would argue, purely aesthetically for each map, the Halloween version of Vondel last year was way better than the Halloween version of Maz. The Maz game mode was probably better overall because it had the bosses, the swamp monster, the aliens, whatever. But in terms of just like the map itself, Vondel looked really cool. So I'm curious if it's going to be akin to that. I would assume it will be, which I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to play Resurgence on it. I won't be playing Zombie Royale on it though.
I think the only way you can play it is Zombie Royale.
I believe it'll be
the patch notes just said
Purgatory might be. I think Purgatory might be coming to Vondel. Maybe.
No,
it's not.
No, it's literally just Zombie Royale in weeks 3 and 4 is what the patch note said. I know that's the unfortunate thing. Yeah, because I guess I'll talk about this now. Vondel is the best Resurgence map, by the way. Dude, Jake and I were Q sniping it last night. It's so much fun, man. It really is. It's a fun map.
It's a great little map.
It's just so much different. It's so different than the big map, than the big BR maps, and then it plays entirely different than Rebirth, Keep, and Ashika. It's so much different. It's fun. Like Jake was just running around the whole time. He's like, God damn it, this would have been fun if they added rank to this map. Like, it would have played so much better than Rebirth. It would have been perfect. It still pisses me off that they didn't do that.
Yeah. We'll never get it.
It's just so interesting going between the buildings. It's such a different experience than all of the other maps. I'm gonna really honestly miss Vondel when they remove it. So, yeah, we were Q sniping that for a while. We unfortunately had to play Fortune's Keep one time as well, or twice. Ugh. Miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Yeah. Vondel's the best. We've talked about it
felt
before.
Good landing stadium. You know, running our routes, hitting
those
the
four
balloon.
chests. Yeah, the routes. Yeah, rowing out of stadium. Yeah. Row this. It's a great map. It's like the perfect marriage between Resurgence and Big Map BR.
Yeah.
And it's the only one that ever has, or honestly probably ever will be, the perfect middle ground between traditional Resurgence with 40 players on a tiny little map, and then traditional BR, insofar as that exists, on a big map like Urzikstan or something, because it's still Resurgence rule set, but it's a way bigger map, so rotating actually matters and you have to think about it, and it's got 30 more players to compensate as well. So the player density is still good, but not as insane as Rebirth, but higher than big map player density. Also, like people per square foot, basically. You still have the Resurgence rule set, but it's also big enough to where you actually have to like think about rotating and like where you drop.
Yeah.
Because on Rebirth, like, it doesn't matter where the first circle is. I'll drop anywhere and I'll easily get into zone. Like, it's no problem. And then on Urzikstan, that's not true. It can be, depends on if you get unlucky or not, but you want to be wary of that. But on Vondel, it's like, yeah, perfect little middle ground. And also, it's the only Resurgence map where it's pretty goddamn easy to regain, even if you have a terrible start.
Yeah, true. Because you can land on in those corners of the map and easily loot up again.
There's just so much space, and because not only is it a pretty big footprint, but also there are so many buildings with so many floors.
Yep.
That like you can get somewhere and be safe. You can't say that for Fortune's Keep often, or Rebirth Island. Like, if you have a bad start, you're kind of just screwed, honestly, like very often. And if you're not, you have to get lucky. Whereas in Vondel, it's a regainable map that's also Resurgence. It would have been perfect for ranked.
I mean, yeah,
I would have loved it so much, man.
You can die like on one side of stadium, respawn, and literally land the other side of stadium, like the opposite bleachers, and just loot up there and go fight again. You can't do any of that on Rebirth at all. Like Rebirth doesn't feel like it has too many players, but if you die off rip and you have to land and regain, it's not possible because it feels like there are too many players. But during the gameplay and the pacing of everything, it feels fine with the amount of players. It's just regaining is like impossible to do. If you guys basically get wiped off rip in ranked play, you know, you got one guy floating while the other two respawn, you are generally not coming back and doing well that match. There's nowhere to go. There's not enough loot. There aren't enough chests. You can't hit the buy stations. Your free loadout drop is always in a terrible spot. So I think Vondel would have played really well. I get them wanting to do Rebirth ranked. Totally, it makes sense. You know, try it 1 or 2 seasons, but God, it would have been nice to get Vondel ranked for a season or 2 as well.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like obviously, yes, we would have rather had big map rank. Duh, of course. But if they're going to do Resurgence, it would have been a great change of pace to get Vondel in there.
Yeah.
But
and another thing about Vondel 2 is a lot of people don't like the map. And you know what? I get it. Like, if you don't like Vondel as a map, that's fine. But try to disentangle the map itself with the map size and player count. Like, imagine, I would love to see another Resurgence map that is about as big as Vondel, that also has 70 player count to compensate, but it be a different map. That would be really cool. I feel like everyone should agree that that idea of like a hybrid, again, between Resurgence and Big Map BR is a good idea. And a lot of people, I think, shit on the idea of it. Like, oh, I don't like a big Resurgence map. You might just not like Vondel itself, but you would like a big Resurgence map if it were a different map. You know what I mean? I wish we would get something like that, but unfortunately, Vondel's just not that popular, and I don't think they'll try it because classic Activision, they're going to conflate a low player count with unpopularity. So like, oh, people don't like to play Vondel, therefore they must not like a big Resurgence map. Well, no, it could also be they don't like the map Vondel specifically, and they would like a big Resurgence map if it were a different one. Or they might dodge it because they're bored of it because it's been the same map for 3 years also. So it's just classic conflation from Activision, probably. So unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see another one, but I wish we would. Because, yeah, it would. And I like Vondel itself anyway. So,
yeah, I do too.
It's a shame.
It's so different.
It's crazy. We have Fortune's Keep 1 season and then Rebirth for 5. Got it. Or 4, whatever. It's like, what? You guys are willing to change up the map.
Oh my God, Fortune's Keep is so bad. God, it's a terrible map.
1,000 emoji. Yeah.
Another thing too.
That's so disappointing.
While we're on the topic of older things, I decided to try Flex again. I ran Combat Scout like for an entire season, basically. Once you go back to Flex, God damn it, you realize how useful it is. It is actually a crazy difference in footstep audio, so I'm done trying other things. I really wish I could run Combat Scout. It'd be great if you just had footstep audio by default like Flex, but wow, it's good. Because again, when Jake and I were playing, I started running, I was like, dude, I forgot how much better this is. He's like, yeah, I'm never not using it again. Like, it actually does make such a big difference. It felt like I was watching the streams where everyone has the audio. Like, you're hearing people 50 meters away in a building again. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just always using Flex from now on. So that's unfortunate that I'm going to have to run that on things like Rebirth. There will still be times where you don't get audio, but wow, you hear it. It's so loud, and you hear it further away 100%. So you should also use it, by the way. Stop whatever you're using. Or drop whatever you're using. Scout. Yeah, just drop you.
Try it again. I don't know, man.
I mean, it is a massive difference. If you don't notice
Combat
it,
Scout
then...
is so good.
So is hearing people pushing you.
Last time I used it, there was a big difference, but I feel like it's never the difference between me hearing someone and me not. Like, so for example, if you're in the showers of Rebirth and you are looking at, you're looking at industry, okay? If you like walk that way and then turn left in that little like cubby, if you are there and someone else is not there in showers, you will not hear each other at all. It's just broken audio, whether you have Flex or not. So for me, it feels like when I run Flex, it's like the people I hear them extra. And it's like, if I'm going to hear them either way, I don't want to give up Combat Scout to Giga hear them. And also, if I'm not going to hear someone without Flex, I'm also not going to hear them if I do have Flex. I think the only like real utility it has is you'll hear people that you would otherwise hear anyway sooner. So you hear from farther away, which, let me be clear, that's good. That's really good. I just don't know if it's better than Combat Scout or High Alert, in my opinion.
High Alert's
you're right.
$100p.
It should be default audio, and then take the delayed explosives and tie it to a different perk. That's absolutely what they should do.
Yep. Delayed explosives would be kind of
loud and gross and tilting without Flex. Precision airstrikes, grave yapping, fire sale. Fire sale's active. Shut the up, man.
Yeah.
Stop. Flex doesn't help with that, of course, but all the other tilting audio shit, Flex does help with, and it really should just be default.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I shouldn't have to run a perk to not be annoyed or lose permanent hearing. So I don't know.
It would be kind of interesting
whatever.
if they tied it to like Tracker, because Tracker, you know, you see footsteps, you see where people are, yeah, and then you also detect some sort of, you know, like a cluster mine or something they throw down on the ground. I think that would make sense.
That could be
but it
cool
doesn't matter.
too.
They won't do it. So yeah, Flex is good. Unfortunately, not having Combat Scout, especially on big map, is rough, because as soon as people throw smoke, you're just never hitting any bullets again. So Combat Scout's just so good for that, but I think on Rebirth, it's worth it, because I don't need High Alert. I don't want it going off every single time some guy across the map turns in my direction while he's floating in, and he doesn't even see me, but I'm getting High Alert constantly. No thanks. And then Combat Scout just... It's good at times, but since so much of it is fighting inside buildings, you're not dealing with smoke as much. It's good when they're gonna like rechow and stuff. It's really, really good. But I think ultimately, I would just rather hear people. But anyways,
especially on roller, Combat Scout's really good for what you just said, which is when people re-peek you. So like you're in a gunfight and like you're both breaking line of sight, whatever. And then let's say you get an advantage and you crack him and you still have like 2 plates and he runs out of a door or whatever. If you have Combat Scout, you know if that guy's going to re-peek that door, like try and swing you and catch you off guard, or if he's going to keep running immediately. So if he re-peeks you, he's automatically dead, especially on roller, because you just stand there, pre-aim, and then do a little circle with your left stick. And at the moment he peeks, you're going to know it, and you're going to lock on dead, zapped. Yeah. And it's so easy to do with Combat Scout because you auto ping them and it lasts for a long time. And then if they're running away, obviously, you know that you can just continue chasing. So I don't know. I think it's really good. On that topic, by the way, I was watching Biffle last night, and he is currently top 250 in ranked Resurgence. And yeah, he was running the DTIR and the static. The most interesting thing, though, is he was running a perk I don't think I've seen anyone else running, which is Cold-Blooded. He was running Cold-Blooded in Combat Scout, Mountaineer, and Sleight of Hand. And I was like, that's interesting, because I've thought about doing that. I haven't actually ever done it, but Cold-Blooded, for those of you who don't know, you don't show up on thermals, which doesn't matter for ranked, but also you counteract Combat Scout, so you don't get live pinged by people with Combat Scout, which most good players are running on ranked. So you can actually hit a smoke and like run through it without dying because you won't be live pinged. And I was like, kind of makes me want to try it. I don't know. But it feels really bad to give up quick fix. It feels really bad. And most good players, even top 250 players, do not run Cold-Blooded in ranked. So I think it's overall probably not worth it. And he's just Biffle, so he can run. I mean, well, he can run.
He's not even top 250. He can't be that good. He's only Crim, so I mean, yeah.
No, last night he was top 250.
Was he?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was struggling.
Probably played 2 games since then and then hit top 250. Yeah. Dude. Top 250 is like 11,000 SR right now because the season's so new. So it's
I was watching him play with Repulse and somebody else, and like Repulse was like screaming, and he was like saying how these people he's fighting are better than everyone who was at LAN.
I love Repulse, dude.
He was like, these guys are so good, they're the best. They were just getting torched, and then of course the one stream I watched, they got like 7th place in ranks or something. They were just getting destroyed. Yeah. So on that, The game is very sweaty right now. It goes kind of through cycles. And I don't know if it's actually like ever related to what they talked about in the SBMM white paper, I think it was called, where they said there are times where they changed how strict skill-based matchmaking is. Sometimes they'll literally turn it off, they said, to do some sort of testing. Sometimes it's more strict. But also, it's just sweatier at the beginning of the season, but especially Big Map. Big Map goes back and forth. But man, every single match we've played of Big Map so far has been crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. I think what it is after World Series of Warzone, a lot of these kids are actually just like, oh, they feel like they can do it next year, so they all start practicing or something. Or they just get hyped, watching World Series of Warzone, and it makes them like, a new season comes out right after, like, ooh, I want to play Big Map and like, do what these guys are doing. But it is crazy sweaty right now. So I think we might be done there with Big Map for the remainder of the year. That's kind of what we were saying yesterday. It might just be basically it's crazy sweaty right now. Every single person you fight is just a 3 KD player minimum. Pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, Big Map is ass 100 emoji.
It's
100p. I haven't played too much Big Map since season 6. Maybe
none of us have. We'll play like a match or two and then realize, all right,
yeah,
back
exactly.
to Rebirth. It's too sweaty.
Maybe like 10 games, but literally every single one were just demon lobbies. Yeah, just not fun.
Even
and
like
again, I'm trying to learn controller. Like I can't do it. Just getting absolutely zapped, and a lot of cheaters still. Also, not only are they sweaty, but there are also a bunch of cheaters in Big Map.
I didn't notice any when we played Big
ranked,
Map. But...
to be fair, we had a team of just blatant cheaters. They were terrible, but they were very obviously cheating. This morning, in fact, it was really cringe. But yeah,
there was a guy walling, pretty sure, in ranked yesterday. I haven't seen any like obvious spin botters, I don't think, yet, other than when I tuned into Dongy's stream and they were he got aimbotted by some guy, and then he started spam reporting him. He's like, oh yeah, that guy's cheating. Yeah. But there was some guy last night when I was in the water trying to survive. Little bro jumped off the roof, literally just full on looked down. He started running towards the water, looked down to the right, just looked at me through the ground, through the dirt, through the rock, through the soil, looked at where I was at, obviously through the wall, sprints right up to the edge of the water, aims right where he was looking, and that's right where I'm at, and he kills me. Got it. He was level 50, crim 1 or 2. I've got that. I'm like, bro, this guy's definitely walling.
Yeah.
So that's dope.
Yeah. That's super cool. Yeah.
But anyways,
we had blatant waller this morning too. The whole team was just obviously walling.
And then
I was getting run down, no UAV, like completely out of their line of sight the whole time. And then as soon as I like peeked up, all three of them just looking right at me. Okay, bro. Like it's so dumb. Anyway.
Yeah. And then ranked also seems a lot more sweaty right now.
Yeah.
Like it's early in the season, so even the really, really good players are in a lower lobby. But the thing is, as we learned last year, there are only 2 brackets. It's the lower bracket and the upper bracket. But still, the upper bracket feels like everybody's really, really good. I think, one, it's a lot of the World Series of Warzone players, since they're done scrimming, they're done practicing Big Map for the tournament, those people are now grinding ranked play again because they have nothing else to do.
Correct.
So they're like, all right, well, let's grind ranked play. They're 3 stacking top 250 pros again that are playing ranked play. So then their viewers come in, their tens of thousands of viewers come in. They're like, oh, like Rebirth ranked, like I want to play that now because they see their favorite streamer doing it. So then they're all little sweat lords. So then they're playing Rebirth ranked again. And then, of course, just more players queuing at the same time. There will be much tighter lobbies than we had last season, where it seemed like not as many people were playing. So I think therefore you are actually getting into lobbies that are more closer to your skill level. So then it's just going to be sweatier in general. Like ranked has been fun, but it's been very difficult. Yeah, for sure. Very, very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all those things are true. Yeah. Like Swag's queuing ranks now. I haven't seen him do that in a long time. Biffle, all these World Series Warzone guys. And then that brings all their like fans and people that want to queue snipe. Someone was in like
cheaters trying to kill him.
It was actually such an insane conversation. I was watching Spam Gola, some 16-year-old sweat play ranked like yesterday or 2 days ago. And there was some guy who's like a known cheater in his Twitch chat. And he was talking about like, oh yeah, this guy is like, we were cool. And then I don't know, he said something and then I put a bounty on him. So if someone in my cheater Discord makes them lose 200 SR, I give them $20. So he just has a bunch of cheaters with a financial incentive trying to Q snipe whoever the streamer was to wipe them off rip. And they're all cheating to get like a $20 payout or whatever. Like that is such, I hate that guy so much. And I hate his parents for letting him pay out bounties to cheaters.
Yeah.
It's so insane. But like there are absolutely people who are like, oh, even if they're not cheating, just sweats that are like, oh dude, I want to kill Biffle on his live stream. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's Q ranked, boys. Let's try and Q snipe him. And then they miss, and then they're in your lobby. Or you're in the lobby with both of them. That's fun also. So like it's a disaster. Plus, this is a shorter ranked season. It's only like 27 more days. So I think also people that want that whatever iridescent reward, they're just queuing right away because they want to hit iridescent to get the reward on limited time. That could be it too.
Yeah.
So if anything, I would expect actually ranked to get a lot less sweaty as the season goes on, like even in like a week or two, because I think a lot of people are going to hit iridescent, get kind of bored, and then I don't know, go play big map, go try and chase nukes, whatever. And then toward the end of the season, it'll probably get sweaty again with people that were, I don't know, late to the party that want to get the reward.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's just kind of normal. Yeah, maybe this is just how it always is. We generally don't play ranked this early because we purposely wait for those players to just get up to iridescent. So yeah, maybe that's the case for sure.
Yeah. It has been fun though. Still,
yeah,
I agree.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. I've been playing a ton of ranked Rebirth, but
so you started at what, Diamond 1 is what you start at?
You reset to Diamond 1. That's the highest you can reset to. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, which is like 50.
Are you still in Diamond 1 or are you out of it?
Diamond 2 now.
Okay. I think I'm platinum
with the
3.
Challenges.
Yeah. I reset to plat 1.
Yeah. Sure. So anyway, yeah, and again, we might talk more about Rebirth ranked. Like I said, I've been playing it a ton. And I could say a billion things about it. Haven't seen too much enthusiasm from you guys about that topic, which is fine, by the way. So if you're not enthusiastic about it, we'll probably end up skipping that idea. But maybe we will. So I've received that comment. Yeah, I guess we already covered that. And then I guess the last thing, we're gonna have to end pretty soon here because Tanner's got like prior 5-10 commitments.
Yeah.
But one other thing is I am back on that roller thing. I can't do it. I'm 32 years old. I'm old, slow, and shit. And I just can't play on K-BAM anymore, especially on Rebirth Island when every gunfight is at 15 meters maximum. So I got tilted, frustrated, getting just zapped, losing every single gunfight in a building. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm getting a roller again. So I'm trying that experiment again. And it's been going very well. Definitely way better on roller now than I was the entire prior season. I had tried it sometime earlier this year. Mainly because that season I was doing mostly big map. This season I'm doing mostly Rebirth. So I already probably have more gunfights in the last 4 days than I did that entire season. So I've just gotten way more roller practice. And it's, boy, let me tell you, if any of you guys are on K-BAM, especially if you're old. So like Rouston, stay on keyboard and mouse. You're fun to watch. You're good. And you drop like 40s on K-BAM on Rebirth. You're cheating. But for the rest of you, like Chris, for example, or Tanner, for example, or Drexler, for example, stop. Give it up.
Benji, especially.
Put the office equipment down, Unk. Just put the controller in the Amazon cart. Use it. It's so much more
Put the
fun.
Mouse in the drawer, Unk.
Just put the mouse in the drawer, Unk. You gotta stop. Trust me, oh, but I'm old and I can't learn new things. Listen, it is awkward getting used to controller at first, to be clear. It's awkward getting used to auto attack sprint. It's awkward getting used to, being able to not dead slide, because you will do that if you're new to auto attack sprint, which you will be if you switch from KBM to roller. That's awkward. Using hybrid to dive, that's kind of awkward. But guess what's not awkward and you won't have to get used to doing? Perhaps some might say the most important facet of a first-person shooter game, which is, of course, pointing your gun at other players and also shooting them. Luckily for you, Chief, that you won't have to get used to doing. It does it for you. And it's fun. I gotta be honest. It's really fun. So you see a guy and you have him weak. Hey, you don't have to worry anymore if you should push him or not if he's good. Doesn't matter. Point your reticle in the general vicinity, left trigger, right trigger, he is zapped. The only thing that matters is if you have more health than him or not. You're almost never getting outplayed with advantage up close if you're roller v roller. It just doesn't happen. It's a delight. It's a privilege, and it's really fun when you get the sticky icky and just a free kill, which happens, hey, as I already knew, quite often. But when you're the one doing it, it's Google. Sorry. It's a lot more fun. You guys should do it. I'm done with KBAM. I'll keep the mouse for Tarkov and other based video. Well, Tarkov's terrible, but other video
worst
games
wipe
where
ever.
you might use
terrible game. Holy shit.
Shit his ass 100 emoji. For sure. But it's just so delightful when you get that sticky icky, and it's really, really addictive. It's like that fentanyl type beat.
You on that fent?
Not that I would, well, I kind of would know, but anyways, whatever. It's really fun. You guys have to stop using keyboard and mouse. It just stop. The game isn't built for you. Oh, but in BO6, they're going to nerf aim assist in 2.8 meters or 0. Got it. Good luck getting inside of 2.8 meters on a competent controller player. Zapped. You're dead, especially with 100 health total. You're dead so far sooner than you're getting that close for it to matter. It doesn't matter. Trust me. Get used to roller. It's fun. If you can't beat them, which you can't, join them. And we're currently working on Tanner, and he's about there.
No, I'm not about there at all.
He's about there.
I'm not about there.
I can leak the logs.
You can leak whatever you want.
We can do a log review if you want.
You can review the logs all you want, man. I don't care. Review the logs.
He's doing it.
No, I'm not.
He's doing it.
I'm not.
He's going to do it.
I've played COD on mouse since 2007 or 6. No, I'm not switching.
Rose old.
I'd rather just die all the time and complain. I'm not swapping now.
Yeah, it is nice to be able to just bitch about aim assist when you lose, though.
Yeah,
like,
you really are a lot better this time.
Assist.
So this is what I told you last season when you were dying, when you had like half the amount of blood in your body as a normal human should. That's what I was telling you, is like you would play on controller on big map for 2.5 hours one day. You wouldn't play the game for 5 days. You would come back, you'd play on big map, you'd play for 2 hours on controller on big map, you'd get off, you'd play again 2 weeks later. I'm like, yeah, of course you're never going to get better on it. So literally, I think you've actually probably gotten in more gunfights already this season than you did that entire season experiment. For sure. Because also, I think you only played like half the season and then you were virtually dying, so you were playing like Elden Ring or something. So you stopped playing at mid-season. So yeah, I mean, bro was like literally, like I was downed and I'm being dead ass. Usually on Rebirth when I'm downed and like you're alive or something, you're going to lose the 1v2. Bro was like 1v2ing sweaty kids at 10 meters. I'm like, what are you doing? How is this even possible? Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, we're
Cope
wiped right now.
Believe.
Yeah.
Cope was like, oh, I'm fucking out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I downed the boat.
And then
like,
somehow
really?
I literally could not believe it. He got 2 downed in a 1v2 situation against these sweaty little controller kids. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you would have done 50% damage to one guy before. So
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
100%. Yeah, and that's the thing. And like, you know, like Emmy saying, I'm not gonna stop mouse and key because I don't give a fuck if I win or lose. I'm just having fun. I'm with you, sister, and I also sort of think that it is more fun to use. It's a grown ass man. Yeah. It is more fun to use keyboard and mouse, but is it more fun to use KBAM if you are doing as well on KBAM as you would on controller? For sure, it's more fun to use KBAM. Here's the thing, though. That's not the comparison you should be making. The comparison you should be making is it more fun for me to play on mouse and key and have a 50% lower KD, or to play on a controller, not quite as fun of an input to use, but get way more kills? Hey, you know what? I'm coming around. Man. And it seems so far, especially now that I'm getting kind of comfortable with it, it's really fun using controller. Because also you're playing a game that's like built for you. You know, most of the player base is on controller.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the number, but I would guess 80% probably. So they're obviously going to cater the game. And this isn't, I'm not even flaming Activision for this. They should do this. If most of your customers are on a particular input, you're going to gear like everything toward that. So it's also nice to be like catered to, I guess. I don't know. Just everything is just like seamless on controller. Like another thing, detonating C4s. It just doesn't work on keyboard and mouse. Metaphor was talking about this earlier. He's like, yeah, it just doesn't work. It's not a setting issue. I've tried everything. It doesn't work. But on controller, no problem. Like there's no problem at all. It's just, there are probably countless examples like that I can't think of, but it's really fun to do really well.
It's fun to kill people.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, like I'm never 1v2ing two sweaty kids in ranked Resurgence when they're both 10 meters from me on keyboard and mouse ever in my life. It's never happening. It's never happening, but it happened on day 3 of controller.
Yeah.
I've got it. I mean, if that doesn't sound fun to you, then you just don't like winning, I guess. I don't know.
It's not the aiming thing. It's literally everything else sounds awkward. Because like I said, I'm not used to playing FPS games at all on controller. So everything else will be what's awkward. I know the actual aiming and shooting up close will be easy, but like I've never used back paddles on a controller. I like none of it. I don't know. Yeah. And I'm old.
You are old. But you're right. I mean, you would just have to get used to everything but aiming. But like that's the thing. It's worth it. Because you will have so much consistency. It's so fun. By the way, if you're on controller, I'll say, even though this isn't going to matter and you're already seething and you've turned the episode off, I promise you, I'm not saying there's no skill gap or that, controller, you automatically get a 5 KD and everyone's biffle. Obviously, that's not true. There's obviously a huge skill gap. I still get absolutely rolled by like good controller players, and there is aiming to be done, and you can whiff even up close and all of that. That's all true, to be sure, but it's really good up close. And once you get used to it, honestly, kind of hard to whiff up close. It's kind of hard to do. You can do it. I've done it. I'll do it again, probably. But you gotta like really fight the game to whiff up close.
You should just be a hybrid player.
You're not gonna miss that many bullets. You'll miss like 2, and then you'll be back on.
Yeah.
So
you should just do hybrid. Resurgence, use controller. Big map, use KBAM. Because that'll be a lot more difficult to get used to.
Big map definitely is harder for me.
Controller on big map, yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, because shooting people far away on controller is genuinely like pretty hard. At least for me right now.
Yeah.
It's like a lot more challenging for sure. But that's why people that are good always just push you. If you feel like everyone who's good is always just like trying to get inside you all the time, well, yeah, it's because they're on controller. So they're not going to miss bullets if they can get close enough. So that's what they're going to do. Like, why am I going to take this gunfight all far away where it's hard? Cringe. I'm getting close. It's smart to do. Yeah. So anyway. All right. That's it, boys and girls. We hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week. As always, patreon.com/thedropshot, early access, ad-free, and bonus episodes. We did a bonus episode, Micro Topics, which we talked about a little bit at the end of our last episode. Go listen to it if you're a patron. We got 2 more coming down the pike. It's going to be fun and exciting, and it's a great way to support the show. By the way, all of you, I'm going to be gaming right now, twitch.tv/Razinon, if you want to see a new controller player just dominate the lobby.
Yeah.
Which is for sure what I'll be doing, and I won't be spectating Jake. That's not what I mean. By the way, did you see Bay's bait message to Jake?
Yes.
In the fire group chat? God,
Yeah.
I started laughing. I love Bay. He's so funny. Anyways, whatever, yeah. I'll be live if you guys are bored. You can come watch that. Stay humble!
Stay humble.